The next episode of Star Trek Picard Season 2 is nearly upon us. We've got some crazy theories for this week, going from a Borg Queen having a bit of a rampage to an interesting connection to Star Trek the original series. Honestly, if Strange New Worlds trailer wasn't enough this week, we've got even more developments in the world of Star Trek Picard. The good news is Jonathan Frakes is back to direct episode 6 with writers Cindy Apple and Jane Maggs, as episode 6, which appears to be titled 2 of 1. The title is all about the Borg Queen now being inside of Dr. Jurati's head, which was the shock reveal of last week's Star Trek Picard episode. Okay, it's time to break down the latest teaser trailers, exclusive clips, and promotional pictures. Spoiler warning, this video will feature official content and theories related to Star Trek Picard Season 2, Episode 6. You have been warned, turn away now if you don't want to be spoiled. Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host Captain Jack, and let's get straight into it. This week's official episode synopsis is all about Picard and the crew infiltrating the Gala on the eve of the Europa mission, which Rene Picard is integral to, especially with a focus on the restoration of a timeline as Picard and crew know it. It also alludes to the fact that Koi, the daughter of Adam Soong, will make some sort of discovery about her father's work. It's unlikely the last we've seen of Adam Soong, and it would not surprise me if he shows up at the Gala with the help of Q, which will also explain how he all fits into the storyline adventures and is such a key part of it. As usual, before we do dive into the video, if you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Star Trek universe. As always, please know your thoughts in the comment section below, because if you're talking about Star Trek, then we want to hear about it. And like always, we can't show you the full trailers due to Paramount copyright restrictions. One day they'll let us, one day. In the meantime, you can check out the link in the video description to TrekCentral.net, where you can catch the latest news and more, as well as today's trailers. The main trailer for this week's episode fills in a mystery we've been wondering about for some time now with the second season of Star Trek Picard. This would revolve around Dr. Jurati taking the stage, and given last week's revelation about the Borg Queen now taking over, it makes even more sense. I'm referring to the secret Star Trek Picard trailer that shows a woman walking down the road in a red dress. Previous trailers never gave away who this was, but thanks to last week's episode and this week's episode, we've got an answer and why it fits into the story. Mostly. The trailer gives us clear shots of Rene Picard walking around the Gala Hall. It's clear that the crew's plan is still protecting Rene from anyone tampering with the future, as Rios even states that without her, they don't get their future back. This being the lovely feature of Rios looking fabulous in the Starfleet uniform. Jurati's also seen on stage with a band. Perhaps the Borg Queen has taken over and given us some musical talent. New Trek has done a lot of Thessalian opera, first being heard in Star Trek Discovery and then in Season 1 of Star Trek Picard, and Jurati was the one listening to it. So it'd be a cool little connectivity moment to hear Jurati sing some Thessalian opera. Maybe that music isn't right for the format, who knows. We can even see the Borg Queen teasing her, likely taunting and taking control where and when she wants. Agnes even goes in for a sweet kiss of Rios as well, pulling him via a tie. Let's not forget that these two were previously in a relationship, which somehow dissolved between Season 1 and Season 2. Renee seems to go walkabout in the trailer, perhaps having an anxiety flare up and need to go somewhere else. Mr. Rios can be seen chasing after her, along with Picard, who's trying to communicate with the team. Though, the game is afoot when a CCTV camera detects that Jean-Luc is not who he says he is, and he's now in trouble. The situation does indeed go from bad to worse, as Raffi puts it. While Jean-Luc is found unconscious on the floor, I've got some theories of why this happened later on in the video, so stick around for that one. Though it does appear that all the characters rush to him as aid, and he can be heard saying certain things like we're losing him and stay with Jean-Luc etc. Right, let's quickly touch on the promotional pictures for Star Trek Picard, then we'll go to the ready room and then on some crazy theories for this week's episode. Some of the pictures do give away a theory I had from last week's episode, in which we see Jean-Luc talking Rene Picard. As I suspected, it's likely the characters have a quick heart-to-heart and talk more about the future and why Rene is important. Of course, Picard can't say too much about the future, else the Federation Time Police will get involved and smack him back to his reality. Well, maybe not, but you get the point. That's even if they can exist out of the mix-up timeline shenanigans right now. Then again, we do see the same actor play Lieutenant Duquesne in Voyager in the Picard Season 2 trailer, so my hope for the US's relativity turning up kinda stays true. Additionally, promotional pictures do show Rene and Jean-Luc walking around the Gala Center and standing next to the Nomad probe. This space probe was launched in the 21st century and designed to seek out new life forms and interstellar space. The designer, Dr. Jackson Work, was referenced in a previous episode of Picard's second season, so go find that if you want, and tell me which episode it was if he was paying attention. Whether Nomad will be important to Picard's overall story, who knows, but we do know the USS Enterprise will run into it in 2267, which is explored for the original series episode, The Changeling. Other promotional pictures do show 7 of 9 and Raffi looking fantastic, as well as Jean-Luc spending some quality time with Talon, aka the Watcher. This leads us into the Ready Room trailer. Let's break it down. This week's Ready Room episode gives us a conversation between Talon and Jean-Luc, one that gets a little bit personal towards the end, and leads into a relationship hinted between Laris and Picard in episode 1 of the second season. As we know, that conversation is still weighing heavily on Jean-Luc himself. Rene Picard is summoned for promotional pictures with the Europa mission, as Jean-Luc and the crew watch on. This is where the conversation begins between Talon and Jean-Luc as they are observing how Rene is handling herself at the gala. Picard thinks she is doing well, while Talon obviously knows her better due to observing so much of her life. Talon reveals that she's been protecting Rene from afar for 24 years, never once making contact or personally interacting with her. These are the rules that supervisors follow, to not directly interfere with those who are supposed to supervise. Talon makes a note that she has lost touch on interacting with humans, something that Laris has remarked in one way or another before, I would imagine. While Picard is dumbfounded with Talon not making contact with Rene, the Watcher does reveal that the code she lives by is all about no connection, and therefore no relationship with those they're supervising. You can see where the connection between Laris and Jean-Luc is coming into comparison here. Talon remarks that she is a ghost to Rene, and this is the best way to be for Rene's protection. Picard asks the question, and who is watching over you? This question not only reminds me of the Next Generation episode Who Watches the Watchers, but also connects with the idea that supervisors are governed by someone else. The question here sorta has double meaning in a sense. In one way, Picard is implying that Talon is alone and needs some company as she's isolated and just a ghost. Picard sees Talon as Laris, his Romulan housekeeper from a main pre-Divergence timeline. On the other hand, Jean-Luc could be asking generally who actually keeps the Watchers in check, and if Talon has any contact with them in a sense, i.e. who's a boss. Some have theorized that supervisors themselves might be as powerful as Q, well, at least the race which oversees the supervisors like Talon and Gary 7. You know, when we discuss time theory stuff like this and mysterious super races, it gets kinda complicated. Let's move to the next theory before I lose my mind. The Borg Queen's Revenge. Not only do we see her taking control of Agnes in the episode 6 previews, but we see Jean-Luc knocked to the floor. With some trailer footage showing Jurati in a red dress running around the streets of Los Angeles, it could be likely that Borg Queen takes control of Agnes's body fully, takes out Picard, and the person she sees leader and bigger threat to her plans, and then tries to escape. Some other scenes we see in the trailers are 21st century police officers seemingly assimilated, with nanoprobe black veins showing on their skins and green laser sights on their guns. Perhaps we'll leave episode 6 as our heist mission and go on to stopping the Borg Queen and from starting the new Borg Collective in 2024. Whether we'll actually see that in episode 7 and episode 8, it remains to be seen. Hopefully episode 6 doesn't leave us on a too big a cliffhanger. But we do have to circle back to Q and Adam soon. Q is a very Khan from Star Trek Into Darkness feel with him, helping someone cure their daughter in order for a favour. Now in the last episode, we did leave with Q asking Soong to remove an obstacle for him, that obstacle being Rene Picard. How will Soong seemingly take out Rene Picard, if after the gala she was put into quarantine ready for the Europa launch? Another possible idea is that Soong's experiments on soldiers, with Operation Spearhead, wasn't just a throwaway line, but he could put in some favours to get say the private military to kidnap Rene Picard. This could be the soldiers we believe are assimilated, but are actually just augments created by Soong. There are many possible ways the story can go, and we still have all this Borg stuff to contend with when we return to the 25th century, unless that's kept hanging into our 3rd season. But as we're now across the halfway mark for Star Trek Picard Season 2, it has definitely been an amazing ride so far, and we can't wait to see where this episode takes us. But what do you think might happen over the next couple of weeks for Star Trek Picard Season 2? Let us know in the comments below, because as always, if you're talking about Star Trek, then we would love to hear about it. If you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.